Hello and welcome to Pop Snitch Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel.
And I'm Brandon.
We are back after our first live event, which was an absolute delight here in New York City. We're excited to talk all about it more towards the end when we recap the Love Island finale. But thank you so much to everybody who came out and supported. It was so much fun.
Yeah, especially the people who we didn't know at all going into this event. It was such a blast to meet everyone, and I feel like everybody had a great time. Can't wait to do more as we go, for sure.
Yeah, we're thinking through, like, especially in the fall when people aren't, and we aren't, like, traveling for the summer, it'll be easier to do more of those events. But I guess we can kind of get into the stories. Oh, I guess we could talk about ourselves for a minute. I did have a TikTok on my personal account go kind of viral this week.
Yeah, for sure.
It was very weird. And by kind of viral, I mean, like, right at 200,000 views. It wasn't serious, but it was really interesting. I, on a whim, 2 days ago, decided to talk on my personal TikTok about my father and his, in my opinion, like, pretty mysterious, really sudden death from like 15 years ago, and just kind of laid out like what I thought was weird. And the way like Dateline, private investigators, like all these people are tagged in my comments, I completely forgot the like death grip that true crime held on us for years. I just, like, my brain had gotten so far away from it because I started having nightmares when I was listening to it too much. So I just kind of stepped back. And now I remember the sleuths, and I'm like, maybe people can help me figure out what happened.
No, I mean, and to say it's no big deal, I mean, in 3 days, you've gained nearly 3,000 followers. I mean, that's
now
a big,
it is 3,000. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big,
which is cool. And I'm like super
number.
grateful. But it's been very, very interesting reviewing the comments, people's speculation, people asking me things. They were asking me, so like my dad passed in 2010 and his then wife sent me some of his ashes in a teddy bear. And all these people are like, check that teddy bear, your dad's ashes aren't in there. And I'm like, oh my God, what if they're not?
Oh
what if it's someone else, or just like dirt that she threw into a teddy bear?
I know. I mean, yeah, no, we don't know that that's like from a reputable teddy bear ash dealer.
Company. Yeah. And all these years I've been like so afraid our dog was gonna like tear it up and I'd have to vacuum my dad up and then take it out of the vacuum and transfer it to an urn.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's definitely a weird story. You should definitely check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah,
what's the tag of what's your
my
your
tag
TikTok?
is so bad. This is what I mean. Like, I was never meant, I had this as like a sleuth account to watch other people. So I had like 200 followers and now I'm at 3,000 because like I literally never posted. I think it's called Miss What's Her Name, like MS What's Her Name, all one, which is my point. We're like, that's not a searchable name.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's searchable or not. People find
I guess not. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. I've just been like replying to comments and chitty chatting with people on the internet. What have you been up to?
I mean, honestly, just recovering from Sunday because it was I did not know like how much excitement and joy I would get from being around other people who watch these shows.
Yeah.
And I think like there's a sense of, especially when like you're a man and you're watching these shows with your wife, you have to like be apologetic for it or like be like, oh, I don't really like it. I just watch it because my wife watches it. And to be around a bunch of other people in that same vein, just like totally living for these shows was really, really encouraging and just really, really fun. And a huge shout out to the Jeffrey, which just let us take over their entire bar for an entire afternoon and night with Love Island stuff. Yeah, it was a great time.
It was.
There was a story that I was going to have you tell on the podcast about ourselves or you, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it was. But I said the other night, I was like, you need to talk about this on the podcast. And I just cannot remember it.
Well, if we think about it, we can do it. I wanted to say too that we posted these clips from the last episode that have ended up like on the manosphere, and the comments, I have so many comments that are under review that I just like can't typically, because like the TikTok algorithm rewards comments, even if they're like calling me names or whatever, I just kind of let it rock and approve all of them because I'm like, I don't care. The men got really mad when I said they should read romance novels. And I don't know why, like genuinely, I don't know why they're so mad.
I remember now. And this is the manosphere thing is what triggered it.
Okay.
So I think what I wanted you to tell you the story of is the man that invited you to the wedding. Okay. Please tell this story. And this just goes into the kinds of men and like not being able to read a room and not being able to realize that like maybe reading romance novel is okay thing. But this is the kind of people that Rachel grew up around. And so I think it just gives a little context.
Well, it just gives context to like my like pilgrim upbringing.
Yes.
Where I was so unaware of the real world. It was crazy. So when I was in college, I went to Infuge, which is like a Christian camp. And I was like one of the leaders who like took a bunch of high schoolers there. Mind you, I was like 2 years older than them and I was in charge of all of them.
Sounds right.
So I went there and did this, and you like connect with the other people who are like leaders who have brought people to this particular camp from different churches. And so I'm connecting with all these people. You know, I'm bad with names.
Real bad.
Like people will contact us from college and I'm like, who was that? And he's like, she was literally your roommate. I'm like, are you sure?
I mean, that's dead serious. Like, I'll be like, oh, you mean this person that we used to hang out with on a daily basis for 4 years? And you're like,
no recollection.
I don't remember them.
No, my brain, if I have any trauma, and I had so many like crazy things happen to me from the time I was 18 to 24, my brain just deletes it. It's like, it's not there.
Blocked.
So, yes. So anyway, I'm not good at remembering names. This is like in the era before social media. I think I didn't even have, that summer, actually, I created a MySpace. Like that was the very first thing. So I didn't have that with anyone else. And
we're really revealing that age now.
How dare you?
That 39 is coming in strong.
She's hanging on by a thread, baby. I'm holding on to those 30s so hard.
Oh, what's it feel like to be in your 40s? Something that you commonly say.
I'm always like, what's it like to be in the other decade? It must be so hard. It sounds exhausting. I do like giving you a lot of shit about that. But yeah. So anyway, at this point, I was 18 or 19 because it was before I met you. So it was, so yeah. So it's very difficult to like search people. You didn't think to search people on the internet then the way I won't go out with someone who is a friend without searching them now. Like it's just a completely different thing. So anyway, we connect with everybody, and in this like leader group, we all exchange emails. And so there's this one guy, he's very handsome, and he's like our dog. Doug, our dog is like tearing something up. Oh well. And so he's like very handsome. He's probably like 4 or 5 years older than I am. And because I'm nuts, I thought he was into me. He was not. But I thought he was. And so nothing happened. And then probably like a few weeks later, I start getting emails from this guy. I literally can't even remember his name now, his like actual name. I think he's this hot blonde guy that I met at Infuge. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, can I call you? Cause like feasibly we'd already met. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. So this was like the Christian circle too. And like Infuge was like, wasn't it like missionary camp or something?
Yes, it's Mission Fuge is what it stands for.
Yeah. And he was like, do you want to be a missionary? And in my mind, I'm like, I do love travel. And so I was like, all right. And like, I was just dumb. And
I want to be I want to be a missionary to Fiji.
Yeah, literally.
Live on the beach.
I will be in a bikini and be receiving treats. And that is the end of that. But I just remember him talking about it a lot. And I was like, you know, I mean, sure, I'm open to it. But like, my church just like wanted someone to take all these teens somewhere. And I was looking for a free trip. So I did it. And, he was like, oh, okay. He's like, I was just really intrigued by you while we were there. And I'm thinking like, I did nothing to be intriguing. So that's confusing. I do remember that was the summer I discovered that I liked coffee, and I would have like copious amounts of coffee. So I was probably like legitimately, I seemed like cracked out the entire time. I was like so excited, running around like a Maya papaya in circles. Anyway, so I meet this guy. We start talking on the phone. He starts saying things that make no sense to me. Like, oh, I just really want to get my hands dirty in the mission field. And I was like, what does that mean?
Hands
what do you
dirty.
mean? Like, where is that? Where is the mission field in your mind? He's like, you know. I'm like, I don't. I'm curious. Like, where are you looking to go? I have no interest in living in a hut.
The sick part about this is how much you did actually talk to him prior to this. Like,
it's terrifying. And it just lets you know, like, what an idiot you are at 19.
Like, hours online talking to this man, thinking that he's this hot blonde.
No, not online. On the phone. We are talking on the telefono.
Oh, it's so much worse.
No, I know. It's terrible. And the whole time I'm like, his voice sounds weird. I remember thinking that. And he was like, it's been a while. Like, we saw each other last at this camp. Do you want to come to my brother's wedding? And I was like, absolutely, I do. And he's like, okay, you can come here. He lived in a different state. It was like 3 hours away. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking, because I was very naive, this man works for a church. What could possibly be dangerous? But
what could possibly go wrong?
What could happen? But I do remember being like, why are you so obsessed with the mission field? Like, you are working presumably at church, like in a space that you want to work. If you want to go work at a church in a different country, like, it couldn't be that hard, like there are whole organizations. And I remember saying something to that effect and him just getting quiet. And I was like, oh, that was not the news he wanted.
Right.
So anyway, he's like, come to my brother's wedding. And I'm like, got it. So oh my God.
Hot wedding date. Hot wedding date.
Hot wedding day. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God. I get a cute dress. I pack all my stuff. I get in my car. I drive there. Mind you, this is like, I'm a terrible driver. I'm terrible with directions. This is when you could only do MapQuest. And that's important later on. So I like printed off this whole thing. And I told him I would like meet him at the church. Cause I was kind of like, I don't want to meet you at a home. That feels scary. And so I'll meet you at this public place and make sure you're not a monster. And then I'll go from there. So I told him I would meet him there. I like printed it all out and had it in my car. I get to the church and he steps out. He is not the guy that I thought I was talking to. He is, we know how I feel about short men. And like, I'm so sorry to them. There are many handsome short men. And I believe that. This man pops out. He is maybe an inch taller than I am. I am 5'3.5". I am 5'3.5". And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like almost cartoonish in the way he's moving around. And I was like, what is this? What do I do? My brain just suddenly was like, uh-oh, what are we doing? No. I didn't know what to do, but I do remember he was like, I'm just going to go play some basketball with the kids out back if you don't mind waiting.
Oh,
and I was
why did you not pull the plug here?
Listen, like, Brandon,
the Rachel that I know today would have pulled the plug immediately, would have come up with it. Like, this is the part that I don't understand. There's been no part of our relationship at any point where I feel like you would have subjected yourself to this. And so and so maybe this is the moment. Maybe this is where
this was the turning point. Like, genuinely, when I got there and it was not the person I thought I was, I can't tell you like the level of, one, embarrassment, two, like terror that I felt. And then I was like, okay, this poor guy, I don't like him. Like, immediately I was like, this is obviously not going to be a thing, but like, how do he needs someone to go to this wedding with him. It's 24 hours. And I'm like, I will go to this wedding and then I will go home. And the plan was for me to stay the entire weekend. And I was like, that's not happening. And so I was like, okay. So he plays basketball with these kids. I've never had an ick faster in my entire life. I already wasn't attracted to him.
Well, you're really good at basketball too.
I know. And he didn't know I played basketball. Right. So I'm watching and I'm like, oh my God, he's like dribbling up to his head somehow. And he falls down and hurts his ankle and does like the
no.
And I was like, ew.
Well,
I couldn't take it. So then the worst part is he takes me to his house. He's like, okay, you can follow me to my house. And I was like, oh, and I thought it was like his house. It's his parents' house. And it's difficult.
He's living with mommy and daddy still.
Yeah, this man is, he's nearly 30 years old, like for sure at this point. He's not the other guy that I already thought was too old for me, who was younger than him. So this man is about 30. He's living with his parents. He's working. I realized later.
He's 30.
He's almost, I think
I
he was like
did
29.
not
'Cause
catch
I remember him
that
being
part.
like 10 years older than me.
I did
Because
not
he wasn't the
catch
guy I
that.
thought he was. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, it's just temporary. Just living with mom and dad. And I was like, okay. And he's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just trying to save money so I can get out on the mission field. And again, I'm like, where? Where are you going? So he had no answers for where he wanted to go. I get to the house. We pull up. They don't have a front yard. And like, I don't want this to sound like I did not grow up with much. And so like all my needs were taken care of, but I certainly did not grow up in like the upper echelon of society. But when I pulled up and the entire front of the house was just gravel and there were several cars like up on, like stones with the tires missing. And, I pulled up, I was like, I thought it was like a car lot. I was like, oh, does your dad like sell cars on the side? And he just goes, no. And I was like,
we just keep trash in the front lawn.
I was like, what's going on here? And he's like, well, you never know. And I was like, okay. So we get inside. And again, I just remember my heart like beating so fast. And I was like, what is in here? We get inside. His dad I will say his parents were very sweet. They were very like country Tennessee. And I was in North Carolina. And they were like, oh, hi, Rachel. And I was like, oh my God, hi. And there was this huge like transistor radio that was just like playing the sounds of like, I don't know if it's transistor or what, but it was like truck drivers talking to each other. And when I tell you,
CB.
It was, yeah,
it's a CB radio. Transistor radios.
I don't know what that is. But it was so loud and like jarring. Like as soon as I walked in, it's just like people screaming at each other on this radio. That is the loudest thing I've ever heard. And he just goes, yeah, my dad loves that thing. And I was like, okay, all right. And so I get in and he's like, I'll show you my room. And I was like, okay.
This sounds like Wrong Turn. Like, honestly.
It felt like Wrong Turn. I get into his room. It's just his decoration, the only decoration in his entire room, a map, a giant map. And again,
of what?
He's like,
the Earth?
Yeah, just like of the world, of the continent.
I didn't know if it maybe have given us another clue into where he wanted to be a missionary.
But that's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I just really like to have the map in front of me. And I'm like, okay, weirdo.
Well,
so,
as someone who, a girl said that they couldn't date me because they couldn't see me on the mission field. Maybe
no, neither
a map
could I.
on.
You need a hairdryer.
Maybe another map on the wall would have helped.
That would have been a step in the right direction. So anyway, I realized this guy's super into me. I'm not into him at all. I'm trying to like exit this as quickly as possible and like get out of it. And he's like, I have a whole day planned for us. We're going to go hiking before the rehearsal dinner. And I was like, okay. I prepped for a lot of things. Hiking wasn't one of them. That wasn't on the list. He's like, don't worry. It's not even a hard hike. And I'm like, I have flip-flops, jean shorts, and a tank top. Like I can't like hike in flip-flops. He's like, it's fine. So we begin this hike. I immediately fall down. Like just immediately start sliding down. And he's like so dejected and so upset that I was not prepared for the thing he didn't tell me anything about. It looked like he was about to start crying. And I was like, it's okay. Like we can just go back. I need a while to like get ready for this rehearsal dinner anyway.
You've been dreaming about this for months.
Apparently. So we get back to the house. I like take a shower. My leg is like full of sand and like weird stuff where I've like fallen down. And I was like, okay, I just need to take as long as possible getting ready so I can like stay away from him as long as possible. And we'll go from there. As soon as we sit down, he leans over and starts trying to kiss me. And I was like, no.
So here's an interesting thing. And for the uninitiated, I assure you that even though you came to this wedding as his guest and obviously like a romantic interest, there's no way y'all stayed in the same room because this man's
no.
Because this man's parents are like super Christian.
Very conservative.
Super Christian.
Yeah.
Like, so that's not even a factor. So
no.
Like in any other situation, you'd be staying in a room with this man.
No, I wouldn't. That I would have left.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like if you had not been in your exact situation, the expectation that he probably would have had is that you're coming to stay with me for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but that's not what transpired, obviously.
It's also crazy that he tried to kiss me in the living room of his parents' house while his parents were like quite literally, I could see them through the doorway, and that CB radio was playing like so loud. And I'm like,
breaker,
absolutely
breaker,
not.
1-9.
Like, I'm not kidding. And I was like, okay, no, ew. And so he's like, okay. And he again gets really dejected. And that was like a pattern where he would like get really upset and like need a minute where he's like gripping his hands. And I was like, oh God, okay.
Oh my word.
And so I was just like, okay, get to the rehearsal dinner. I get to that rehearsal dinner and I meet the rest of his family. He is clearly like the black sheep of the family in terms of siblings. I get there, his brother and his soon-to-be sister-in-law meet me and they go, what are you doing here? And I was like, okay, no, I thought it was weird. And they were like, it was literally like, how? And I was like, okay, so I can't prove that he impersonated someone or like acted like he was someone, but I definitely thought he was someone else. And I know that I mentioned like specific things about this other guy to him that he conveniently did not correct me on. And again, that's on me.
That would scare me to death, though.
I know.
Like so, if I'm there, that would have. I mean, even me as a man.
I know.
And
I don't
I'm there
know
with
what
somebody,
I was thinking.
I'm there with somebody who's obviously lied to me and coerced me away from my home to the backwoods of Virginia or Tennessee or wherever you went. I mean, that's a long drive too.
No, I know. And I was
traveled.
scared of driving back because it was really hard getting there. It was like very out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, and back roads, 100 turns on MapQuest.
Yeah, so I remember calling my dad and being like, this is not the guy I thought it was. He does work at a church. He does do all of this. And Dad's like, come home. And I was like, you know what? I feel really bad.
Good father.
I'm just going to like be here tomorrow for the wedding. I go to the room that his parents had prepared for me. The entire room is full of clocks. They're not all at exactly the same time. And they all ding on every hour. They are, and I'm not kidding, there were 20 or 30 clocks. They're all, and this is important, cow clocks. There's a cow decorative element to all of them.
Cow theme.
My entire bedspread, cowhide. And he's like, here's the cow room. And I was like,
do they have cows?
No. All they had were cars. Like that would have made way more sense. Anyway, so I'm like sitting there, all these clocks are dinging on the hour, every hour. I felt like I was like in a torture chamber. I was so stressed, but like also weirdly feeling like I had, and this is like, I wish I could go back in time, like, Rachel, get back in your car, get out, don't ever go back. And then the next day I basically like slept in as late as it would be normal, and then got up. We went to like lunch with his brother. You
stayed
and
one night or two?
Just one.
Okay.
And then their wedding was like in the day. It was like at 1:00 or something. So it wasn't lunch. It must have been like breakfast or brunch or something, because all the like men in the wedding were getting together. And as they're lining up for the wedding, like I had talked to his brother and sister-in-law like quite a bit and was expressing like, I'm actually scared. Like this was not what I thought it was. And I remember like talking to his sister-in-law and she was like, he's not dangerous. He's just weird. And I was like, okay, well, he already tried to kiss me.
Oh my God. Thanks for the clarity.
Yeah. And I was like, he already tried to kiss me. And like, I don't want to ruin the wedding for you guys. He gets really upset. Like every time I turn him down, like, yeah, he has a little bit of a temper. And I was like, okay.
What?
And so when I go to the wedding early on, like before it even starts, I happen to see his dad and his brother. And you know how I am with directions. And I'm like nearly in tears. I have, unbeknownst to him, because I was supposed to stay another night and not leave till the next night, I have packed up all my stuff and put it in my car. And I drove to the church and I told him some stupid thing like, oh, I just want to go ahead and get gas in my car or something. So I've driven to the church by myself where his brother's getting married. He has to be like with the groomsmen and stuff. I happened upon his father and his brother as they were like moving from pictures and they were like kind of standing out there. And I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. I feel like I need to go. And both of them were like, go. Don't even worry about it. And his mom ended up coming up and I was like, okay, I'm really bad with directions. And like, I just need help getting out of here because I didn't print off my MapQuest. And so I had to like sit down and write directions down with them. His whole family basically being like, no, get out. We get it. And then I got in my car and called my dad.
He's harmless. He's harmless, but don't make him mad. He's got a temper.
No, but seriously. And this is the man like working with children at a church.
Oh, God.
And I called my dad like crying on my cell phone when I was going home. And I was like, I was so wrong. And he was like, I told you to come home. I told you not to even go. And never again. Never again did that happen. Would it happen? I can barely be bothered to leave my house at this point. Certainly not drive anywhere with a stranger to a wedding.
Before incels.
No. Say that again?
I said this man was an incel before incels.
Yeah, before we had a name for it. It was really weird and really stupid on my end, but I did do that.
Gosh.
I remember he had like a very like horseish laugh too, like and that really grossed me out. Everything he did made me want to like that, like ick. Like they have a name for it, ick. This was beyond ick. It made me like physically ill every time. Okay. So anyway, that was me being a big fat dummy 20 years ago.
My word. Yep. I mean, the same thing, like a very similar thing happened to me in my St. Louis trip.
Oh, that's true. But you were even younger.
Yeah, I think I was going into like 11th grade. Yeah. And that summer I went to a church camp, also a centrifuge camp. At Belmont University, I met this girl named Jackie. And Jackie was...
You're putting her name out there.
Why? I don't mind. I mean, I've been trying to find her for 20-something years.
Don't give the end away.
But yeah, so essentially what happened is we had like a little bit of a romance at this church camp.
Your whirlwind kiss.
Yes, and on the final day we kissed. And then we were literally talking to each other all the time for like a month. And I even made plans to get on a flight to go to St. Louis where my uncle lives and where Jackie also lived to visit her. I had never been on a plane before. I'm in 10th grade, never been on a plane. I get tickets to ride by myself. I'm petrified of flying. It's one of the reasons that I never flew.
You're still scared of flying, yeah.
Still scared of flying. And so I was like, I will get on this plane for Jackie.
Wow.
And I got on the plane, flew there. And strangely enough, my grandparents were also in town visiting my uncle at the same time. And once I get on the ground, I cannot raise this girl. I can't get her on the phone. There was no texting or anything at this point, or I didn't have a phone. So I couldn't get her on the phone to like talk to her other than just to call the number she gave me. She never answered the phone. And I was there for a week. She never picked up. I tried to get a hold of her, tried to figure out where her house was, all these different things. I just gave up and I was like, all right, whatever. Came back, ended up getting back with my high school girlfriend after that, which, worked out for me, I guess. But like a week after, she calls and is like, oh, I'm so sorry. I got kicked out of my house and yada, yada, yada. I mean, it just was like a crazy story that didn't seem real. And then was like, do you still want to like talk and stuff? And I was like, nah, I'm good.
I don't need a pen pal. Thank you so much.
I don't need a pen pal. Sorry. She like ended up calling my mom and being like, I messed this up so bad.
She called your, how did she call your mom?
She just called my house looking for me and my mom picked up and mom's like, do you want to talk to Jackie? I'm like, no.
And then your mom just yapped with her?
Yeah, I just talked to her for like an hour.
That feels right.
And so, but yeah, and mom was just like, yeah, he doesn't want to talk to you. You really kind of messed this up. Like you wouldn't answer it. Like you should have been able to answer his phone calls at least,
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But yeah, Jackie messed it up.
The one that got away.
Yeah, yeah.
She didn't know what she had. I will say I love your high school girlfriend.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. She's a peach.
But Jackie, if you get a hold of this, I'd love to know where you're at or if you're alive.
Oh, wow. Are you okay, Jackie?
Jackie, are you okay?
Jackie, are you okay? Well, I do want to talk a little bit more about conservative Christian circles that we no longer run in, but used to. Did you see this interview or this thing from her podcast that came out about Madi Pruitt and spanking her child?
Oh, yeah. Her and her husband get off on spanking children. That's pretty clear.
I think it's rage bait. I was thinking about it today. Like, even the stuff that they said was so stupid. She was like, the Bible tells us directly that something like children are folly and they have to have discipline. I'm like, it didn't say you had to beat them.
No, and she does. She said in the podcast, she's like, it says beat them with a rod. Don't spare the rod. So we have to use a rod.
Yeah. Okay. People
are
like,
just you have to beat your child with a bat.
I mean, I remember my mom saying that when she used to spank me when I was a kid. She would start by being like, spare the rod, spoil the child. And I was like, you know what? You could spare it. You could spare it, though.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. You want to spank your kids, I'm not here to tell you how to parent. But to be on a podcast talking about like how you just like you have to do it and like just this weird like fanatical strange like almost like getting off on it, not for me.
Her husband's mannerisms and the faces that he makes on that podcast, like they upset me so much, and I can't put my finger on why. They seem like almost alien like I can't figure out what it is about him that just makes me so uncomfortable.
Well, they're like
something.
When we wake up and we're brushing our teeth, that's worship. When we go to the, when we walk out to the front yard and we wash the cars on Saturday, that's worship. When I have to pull out the rod and strike my child, that's worship. Literally.
Amen and amen.
This is what these people are talking about on this podcast.
It's why, though, it is why I speculate that they do it for rage bait. They know.
Of course. They know what gets the clicks. They know what gets the comments.
Yeah. And so I could like shoot myself for even talking about it, but I'm just like, this girl went on the Bachelor franchise way back when and then has spun it into this. And I remember Pilot Pete's mom being like, that ain't your girl.
No,
she's
for
crazy.
Real. Ain't nobody been more validated in this moment than Pilot Pete's weird mom.
Oh, and she was crazy to her too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Honestly, in
she's
retrospect,
like, I don't have
I'm
a good
you
feeling
should have done
about
it
her.
louder.
Yeah, I don't have a good feeling about her. She's weird. No.
Yeah.
Even at the not reunion, whatever they call it, after the final rose, she's like, I still don't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, God.
No, she was right. She was absolutely right.
That's a mother's intuition.
It's true. And we are watching Batch in Paradise. I think we just watched the first episode, though, so we need to catch up on it.
We're trying to.
But, like, the first episode, first of all, 2 hours of nothing. It was just people showing up. I mean, Love Island at least gives like an intro where they're dancing. There's something happening.
They're trying to change it up too, which I think is actually bad. Like, this is the only franchise of Bachelor that was working.
Yeah.
And they've completely changed it up. They're not on the beach anymore. They're in like a hotel. It's weird. It's awful.
You know what? It is interesting that they chose to do it that way because for the longest time, people have been like, Bachelor has to upgrade. Like the franchise is dying. But like they're talking specifically about The Bachelor and Bachelorette. And to your point, and when they did Golden Bachelor, they had huge numbers as compared to the other. But Batch in Paradise was like working. It was one of the only ones that like produced actual couples who stayed together and had children and all this stuff. And they were like, you know what we should do? Let's switch up the only one that's working. And now they're going to bring in like the elderly to incorporate into this group of youth.
Don't understand it.
And I'm like, what are they supposed to do? Like, are they just going to bring in some older men and women like in their 70s and be like, pick a date? Like, I can't
get
fathom
it either.
how it's going to happen. But even watching these folks be together was really jarring. That poor guy, Hakeem, when he was like amping himself up.
Oh, he was coming unglued in the first episode.
He made me sad. It really hurt my feelings that people weren't into him because he was like amping himself up, talking to himself in the mirror, like, you got this, you got this. And then everyone he went to was like, you know what? But I think it's because he had that fight with the other guy. And they were yelling about calling him vanilla. And I was like,
he was bringing a strange energy.
Yeah. Yeah. They both went home. After that fight where everyone was uncomfortable, I think they both went home. It was like a weird competitive energy. So I was not impressed by the first episode, but I have hope that it's going to be very, if nothing else, weird and interesting to watch when they bring in the elders.
Right.
Wells did say that he like saw like one significant, what he referred to as jarring age gap kiss.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm like,
what do you want to bet it's what if you want to bet it's a young man with an older woman?
I hope it is. I would much rather see that than like an old man and a 20-year-old woman.
I think that, but that's what I'm saying.
We've seen that before. We don't need to see it again. Yeah. Get Countess Luann on there. She'll show. Yeah,
get me on there with Countess Luann and let's see what happens.
I don't know that would be as much of an age gap as you would like it to
Hey, easy. Easy with the age gap. Me and Countess Luann, we got at least 20 good years in between us.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, speaking of people who are keeping it age appropriate, have you seen who Tom Brady is out and about with?
No.
You have no guesses of who he has been spotted with. Sofia Vergara.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sofia Vergara.
So I'm curious. I don't know what to think of that because Tom Brady, like as an athlete, hats off. Great job. As a person, I'm confused.
He was also on a boat with like Dakota Johnson and like some other people, and I was like, wow, this is a real motley crew out here on this like boat in Ibiza.
All these like millionaires and billionaires just like playing around in Europe on a yacht somewhere. But yeah, he was spotted with her there, and then also like multiple other places. So it's kind of out in the ether. In the same way the stuff with Paige and Joe D'Amelio was out there, and now it's like confirmed that they're together.
Okay, nice.
I also have to, well, that makes me think of like, did you know that Bezos allegedly, although it has been like reported by a lot of different outlets, though none of like the normal reputable ones, that he's trying to merge or buy Condé Nast so that his tacky wife can run Vogue.
Yeah, well, I mean, they fired what's her name?
See, I heard that she was helping usher it in, but she stepped down because I mean, if you're Anna Wintour, you have to know that, like, is it Wintour? Anna Wintour? If you're Anna Wintour, you have to know that she is only going to be able to make it tacky. That wedding, tacky. Those invitations, tacky. Having it in the way that they did with people who they invited, like just clearly celebrities. Like, do you have friends? Are you okay? Most celebrities with that kind of money are going to choose like 50 to 100 of their closest friends and family and have this bash that hopefully no one finds out about. This was just like a spectacle, and I was like, this is embarrassing. This is not how you rich.
It's giving trashy and like renting out Venice. Like that. I mean, talk
like it's
about
a playground. Like people don't actually live there.
Yeah, like talk about like billionaire, like insane wealth, just like masquerading. I mean, wow, it was really, really a choice.
Yeah. I mean, the pictures. I will say, whoever did her pictures did her dirty with some of those poses. God. It was just so. I mean, honestly, the only word I can think of to describe it is tacky. Like, I really can't get over. And here's my thing. This is a hill I will die on. I would be so hot if I was rich. And I genuinely believe that. Like, I would break all your bitches' necks, you know? Like, if I were rich and I was Jeff, I'd have hair. I'll tell you that much. I'd find my trip to Turkey, like, real quick. If I were Jeff Bezos, I wouldn't be out here in, like, a gray V-neck. I would have actual style and a stylist.
You're anti-short and anti-bald. You're baldest.
I'm not baldest. I'm just saying, if you're a billionaire, you shouldn't be bald.
But he's been bald forever. He's been rocking the baldness forever. Like, he's not just going to all of a sudden go to Turkey and get a hair transplant.
He was making money a long time ago when that hair was falling out, and he could have done what he needed to do.
Maybe he likes it.
Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, that's where I agree with Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg at least did something to his hair. Zuckerberg found like a chain in a tall tee and was like, here I am, baby.
Larry David would not be happy with you right now.
Well, here's the thing. Larry David would be happy with me. I can't tell if he would love me or hate me because we are both kind of like social assassins.
That's true. That's true. You speak his language for sure.
I do. Like if he said something to me, it would be very hard to offend me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I would find it funny.
So maybe we should talk about Love Island now.
No, I want to talk about Scheana Shay.
Oh, God.
You're not in charge of this.
Well, Lord of mercy. We're 40 minutes in. We ain't even talked about Love Island yet.
I need to talk about Scheana Shay first. We'll end with Love Island. But have you read, before we get into the Brock of it all, have you read what she said about Lisa Vanderpump today?
No.
So she basically said that Lisa Vanderpump used like her personal pain and tragedy to like build this franchise, which is true. Like without Scheana Shay, we do not have Vanderpump Rules. You do know that, right? That she was part of the Beverly Hills Housewives where she cheated with Brandy's husband.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lisa figured out how to build this like TV franchise, and now she's got Vanderpump Villa on Hulu and all of this. And Scheana basically said that like Lisa would come up to her and be like, because Scheana is like such a people pleaser, and be like, hey, they're coming down really hard on James. You need to do this in this particular meeting. You need to take up for him after he said something really rude to Katie or something like that. And she's like, if you go back and watch the scenes, you can see her like staring a hole in my head until I say something. And she said that stuff like that happened pretty frequently, and that she was kind of like used to manipulate storylines and then looked stupid because of it. She also said that they made up the storyline, you know, in the season where Raquel and James are getting married. They're like engaged at their engagement party when they pretend like Brock is going to propose to Scheana.
Yes.
And it's like a whole storyline. That was all fake.
I believe that.
Yeah. And she was just talking about how they were trying to do what they could to save the show because they were worried about it before Scandal broke. So anyway, but it's just wild that they were willing to do that, but she wasn't willing to talk during the show, during the season that actually killed the show. She wasn't willing to talk about her husband's infidelity.
I mean, this is the whole thing. Like, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to do a lot to make me feel sorry for Scheana Shay. It's not like I don't like, Sheena's fine. And like, she's no better or worse than any of the other people that are on that show and trying to make money and all these things. But to like feel bad for her because, oh, big surprise, Lisa Vanderpump was cooking the show. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, that shocks me to my core.
Right. I know. The thing about Scheana is, okay, I respect the fact that she knew how to bring drama. But what I've heard from other cast members is that her trying to self-produce actually was very frustrating on the show, and it got in the way of like real drama.
Well, of course it did. As evidenced by the reason that the show is canceled now is because of Lala and frickin' Scheana hiding the story about Brock and using that to try to like trap Ariana into talking about her stuff and like accusing her of exactly what they were doing at the time. I mean, it's just, it's absolutely wild that they treated her and said the things that they did on that show and then had the audacity in the reunion to do what they did and act like they were standing on business and all of this. And to know that they had been hiding the biggest scandal ever, like maybe even more scandalous than the Sandoval thing, in my opinion. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, she was pregnant,
and they were married.
No, they weren't at that point.
Oh, when
that was when she was pregnant. Yeah, I think what's interesting about it is while she was pregnant, everyone was trying to tell her like, this guy is not good news. You know?
Oh,
He's using all of your money. You are bankrolling his life here. You are making sure he can stay in this country.
His weird app
that never took off.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they were like, no, it's really disconcerting that a man has 2 children that he hasn't spoken to in years, that he had been accused of like domestic violence, that not even accused, like he was convicted, right? Because he
lost control of his children because of it.
Yeah, he lost custody and wasn't allowed to be around them. And then he was like, I'll just move around the world. Like, you know, I don't know. Like,
he's like,
everyone
don't tell me I don't love my kids. Don't tell me I don't love them.
And of course, in true Bravo fashion, they really tried to come in hard with like a redemption arc for Brock.
Yeah.
And, you know, him crying and all. But the fact that Scheana chose to be induced on his other child, Summer, on her birthday is also like lunatic behavior.
Well, also, thank God that I know all of this now.
Yeah.
Because back then, you want to talk about somebody looking like a nut. That's Scheana Shay during that last season. She's crying over Sandoval. She's crying about this. She's like losing her mind over these.
It makes more sense now because that's when she found out.
And I'm like, she is unwell. Like, this should not be affecting her like this. And she should not be talking to, like, she was like oversharing with Ariana about all this stuff. Like, all of that's weird. Yeah. And I was just so confused by it. But now, all of that makes total sense. She was freaking out about the fact that she had just been cheated on while she was pregnant. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely nuts.
And it's funny because her reasoning is she had a reputation for making everything about her, which she did. Even in that season with her trying not to make everything about her, was her being like, Ariana got Dancing with the Stars. Why can't I get anything?
But it could have been about her. The season would have been about her.
That's the irony, is that she was so jealous of the reaction to Ariana with Sandoval. And I'm like, people would have reacted pretty similarly.
You would have been on Dancing with the Stars. You would have had these opportunities. Right. It's freaking nuts.
But at the same time, maybe to some degree I respect her because that is like the father of her child.
Well, and that she wanted to stay with him, obviously.
She did. Because one thing I'll say for Scheana is she will ride for her significant other for as long as she can. Lordy. I think when she was done with Shay, she was done with Shay, but for the longest time, she looked over all of his stuff too. But that's my concern with her. I think a problem with her is that she always sees the potential in people and not the reality of who they are.
She needs to watch out for Lala Kent. I'm sorry. I don't dislike Lala like you do, but that girl, she has no loyalties, period. Like
And see, I
her
don't know when
loyalty,
Lala.
they
Do
shift.
you know
with
if
the
Lala
wind.
knew? You keep talking.
She
while I
did.
talk. She
No.
did for sure.
Yeah, she definitely knew. She said she knew on her podcast
Oh,
this week.
I thought she was saying she knew now, so she knew then.
No, she knew during the season. Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yep. She
she is
admitted
a
it.
snake for doing that to Ariana. Then
We can go back and listen, but I'm almost positive she was saying, I've known for quite a while.
if she knew and she pointed at Ariana in her face while pregnant and said, "You're taking food out of my child's mouth," that woman, I'm done. I was already done, but like that is crazy behavior. Crazy behavior. I also want to talk about one more person, and that is Caleb Heron. And it's important that I say I'm obsessed with him. I think he is maybe the funniest person that I have seen on podcasts, that I have seen like in anything on TikTok. I think he is literally like Lena Dunham, like the voice of a generation. I think he's hysterical. And he had his mom on. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
And they were just cracking me
Yeah.
up.
That was so funny.
Well, she's funny, and her little laugh is hysterical. And he was basically like, you would meet someone, and this man could be like under a dumpster, and you'd be like, "Do you want to live here now?"
He's like, she was like, oh yeah. It's like, now I go on a date. I don't like the guy, and I'm done with him after like one date. Back then, he would have moved in.
Yeah, and you'd be like, "Here's your new daddy."
I would have moved him back in. We're doing it his way.
Yeah. But it's so funny. It's true though. Like when you grow up in these like kind of crazy environments, whatever they may be, ours was like different from that, but you really do kind of have to develop a sense of humor. And I just think that I have never laughed harder than when I listen to him tell a story. I just think he is one of the ones that I'm like, every clip, if a clip comes on and Caleb Heron is on it, I am watching it to the end. I am liking. I am commenting. I am hyping it up.
His Z-Way interview is unmatched.
Oh my God.
Absolutely unmatched.
If you are listening to us, you have to go watch him. I'm sure most people know him, but I just saw that of him and his mom, and I found it so endearing and so cute. And I want him on a reality TV show pronto.
I believe, yes, 100%.
Get him on my screen more.
He's built for it.
He is.
Because he's so
hysterical.
quick.
Oh, he is so witty, so quick, and he would read people for filth. Because in most of these shows these days, they're only hiring like models. Like even at Love Island, which we'll talk about in a minute, it turns out that like Jeremiah and Nick and some of these other people knew each other because they all model. And so that's like the agencies that they're pulling from would be like influencers and models. So these aren't people who rely on their wit and humor and brain power. I'm not saying models are stupid because that's not what I think at all. But I'm just saying Caleb has to rely so much on that, and his is razor sharp. You put some of these folks in there who have a pretty face and not much to say, he will rip them to shreds, and it would be interesting to watch. Not that I want to see people get ripped to shreds, but I'm just saying if anyone came at him sideways.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you put him on? What show?
Oh man. I mean, I'd like to just see one of his life. Like he's friends with comedians and people in LA. Like I think it should be his show. Like I would love to see him like.
But if you had to put him on an existing reality TV show, what would you put him on?
Next Gen NYC.
He's how old is he?
I don't know. He's in his 30s probably.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is. I wouldn't want him on that. I think I'd want to see him on Summer House, only because I think it would be hilarious, the stuff that he would say to catch those people off guard.
Yeah. I definitely think so as well. But he needs to be on something. That's for sure. He needs a TV show.
I feel like he's been like in background roles for some other stuff. Was he on Hacks?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's been on a couple of TV shows, and he was in a movie that I saw last year too.
Yeah, like he's been on stuff here and there for sure. He's in the ether, but I need something where he is center stage.
All right, let's talk about Love Island, please.
Go for it. You're sweating.
It's 1,000
you guys,
degrees
we have to
in
turn
this
off
room.
our AC to be able to record this, and that's why my skin looks dewy, because it's just sweat.
I'm sweating like a freaking pig in here.
I am on my workout outfit today.
And I've got these lights
degrees.
on, and it's freaking hot. I'm
I have a sweat stash. That's where it begins. All right. Go for it.
So I guess the first thing that I think that we could talk about is the fact is how Chris and Huda ended. So Chris and Huda, even going into the final episode, things were sort of on the rocks. And in the final episode, things really broke apart, especially when they have this meal in the center of a pool. So he had to like carry her to the meal in the center of the pool. They have this conversation about 5 seconds in. She's pissed him off so bad that he's like wanting to leave the dinner. And so he ends up leaving and coming back and basically being like, you know, she had basically ended it, but it was because he was acting like he was kind of done. And then as they're leaving, he's like, I'm not carrying you back across the water. You have to trudge through the water. Which I thought was really savage.
That man had been done for a while. And here's what I picked up on when his mother and sister came. He had been stressing about them meeting her. Like, legitimately.
Oh, how could he not?
Sweating. He looked upset. He was the only one who wasn't excited. So they get there and they're like, she's pretty. That's what they keep saying. She's beautiful. And he's like, you don't have anything else to say? And they're like, nope. My thought was, they're telling you, if you can win this money, go win this money, baby. We're not going to get in your way. Do what you got to do. But the fact that they didn't have anything else to say about her other than she's pretty, and they were zipped up. I was like, oh, those are women who know that they're just going to stay out and do what they need to do. And I think he finally picked up on it, like towards the end of them being there. But what I noticed about him, and a lot of people have said this, he just kept going to different people, begging them to tell him that he should not be with her. He did it with his family. He did it with Brian. He goes to Brian, like, oh, the stuff with Hood is really bothering me. And he's like, what would you do? And Brian's like, dude, we got like a day left. Like, I'd probably see if it works out. And he's like, oh, okay. And then apparently he went on Nick Vile today, which you know how I feel about that. But and he was saying that they only got like 2 to 4 hours of sleep at night. They would like wake them up very early. And a lot of the point of them like having these crash outs and stuff is that they don't sleep a lot. And so the whole thing with Huda, when she was like, all right, you need to cuddle with me in 3, 2, 1, like counting down like a child, or you're going to be upset with how I act tomorrow. That was bonkers.
Yeah.
But I will say this in her defense to some degree. It was really hard watching her. She should have been gone a long time ago.
Huda defense coming in 3, 2, 1.
She should have been gone way before then. He did not like her. It was so clear that he did not like her. And there are some people who are delusional who are still like, they'll get back together. No, they won't. He did not like her. And I think that sticking around so that he could see how far he would go, like, I get it to some degree. But I'm also like, what, you watched her crash out with this other guy. Like, you knew what you were getting into, and it was your way in to like stay in the villa. And so you did it, because when they got there, he was like, oh, Shelly's actually super into Ace, so this is my only option.
Yeah, of course.
I felt sorry for her because I think she thought it was going well because no one was yelling at her about moving too fast. And what she didn't recognize is that people didn't really care that much, that the only person that cared about her and Jeremiah moving fast was Ace. Nobody else cared.
Well, so I have a little piece of information from the Call Her Daddy Amaya episode. So Amaya explained what everybody, like the deal they made with each other prior to coming into the villa. Okay. So they all talked about like when people would come in, and then obviously the original group before anybody came in, any of the bombshells, that if you were not closed off, you were saying you were open to talking still. So if you were saying, I'm still open, we're not closed off, that meant that you should not be being possessive about anybody's time.
Exactly.
And so why everybody was so mad with Jeremiah and Huda is they were saying, we're not closed off, we're not exclusive, but they were monopolizing each other's time. And so that's why everybody voted out Jeremiah, because he was about to start it up again with Andrina.
I still think that's like a ridiculous reason to vote someone off. See, I think it seemed to me like people were really frustrated, with that, but also like not just that they monopolized each other's time, but Huda had such a negative reaction if anyone chose Jeremiah for anything. Like Alandria never even kissed Jeremiah. Amaya picked him for something, and Huda went to all her friends and was like, I don't trust this bitch. I don't like her, blah, 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 blah. And so I think a lot of it, people are saying that now, but because they all know Huda has very intense reactions to things. But all of that to say, I think she was under the impression that people thought she was moving too quickly. She was unaware of the vibe that she created and why they were actually upset with her. And so she thought that because nobody was complaining, that she and Chris were doing well. And they were not.
I don't disagree with that, but it did bring, what Amaya said did bring clarity to me about what they were talking about, because I did not even understand what they were talking about when they voted off Jeremiah and when they were talking to Huda about voting Jeremiah off. I didn't understand it at all until Amaya explained that to Alex on.
I need to listen to it, because I guess what's confusing for me is like every time a couple did get closed off, they immediately got voted off.
Yeah, I mean, that's true too.
Like that was the trend that they set for the rest of the season.
But also America was doing that too. Like a lot of those were America's choice.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, with Huda, I was ready for her to be gone. It's annoying that she got third place with a guy that never liked her. That the guy that she actually liked left like way early in the season, and she was just around for no reason after that. But I did think it was funny that he wouldn't carry her, but also like kind of crazy. And I'm glad that I will say for both of them, I felt like when they did the like proclaim your love part or whatever in the very end, that they were both very respectful and kind. And it does seem like everybody's going to be friends when they're outside the villa. There's not like bad blood with anyone. And I think that's good. Oh, it is crazy that none of the couples were together for more than like a week in the final. That was absolutely wild.
Yeah. Okay. So there were some other things from that interview that I thought were really interesting about the finale. And they were talking about how the whole thing with Amaya was everybody got crazy when she would be like, I'm calling you, what
baby.
was it? Yeah, calling you baby, or like trying to kiss on you, or trying to like whatever. And she said that like the guys would not even want to kiss outside of challenges.
Yeah.
Like that they were just being so weird. And she's like, I thought we were coming on kissing dating show. And I was trying to kiss on Austin, and he's like, oh, whoa, you're moving too fast. And she's like, we are moving at a snail's pace. And I'm like, I agree with her. I'm like, this must be a dating show. We're supposed to figure out if we want to be together after this. And they're like, anytime she's like, my toe would graze theirs, and they'd be like, you want to have sex?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I mean, it really weirded me out hearing her talk like that. What's wrong with these guys?
I really wish, for Amaya's sake, that she had been born when we were. She would have had so much fun if she had come up in the alts with us.
And she was also talking about this, like one of the things that Alex asked her about was during the Standing on Business challenge, is she upset that none of the girls came to her defense at all? And she was like, yeah, I am actually like really upset that they didn't. Like they didn't say anything. Like if somebody was coming at my girls like that, like I would have been like, no, you ain't gonna talk to her like that in front of me. But nobody said anything, and I was like,
I thought
wow.
Shelly said something at some point, but I don't remember.
They didn't. None of them did. And then Sierra came to her afterwards and was like, are you okay? But they didn't say anything to the guys. They let the guys just run full on roughshod over her in that challenge. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize this, but when they would say journey or our journey, they were talking about sex.
Yeah, obviously.
I didn't get that. I didn't understand that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And if they were talking about that, if they said folded, that was that.
Yeah. So the journey, when they would talk about their journey, that would
That's
mean
what the girls said, especially like Iris and Sierra talking to each other. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't get that.
That is so funny. Okay. I'll have to like think about what you might not know next time.
Yeah. So I was not picking up on any of that.
Well, I'll tell you this. All the people at our finale party were team Nicolandria and Amaya Papaya, and we all screamed and yelled in delight when Amaya got her win. And I could not be more excited for her. There is no one else that I want doing the brand deals. Like, I can't wait to hear her little raspy voice talking to me about like Fenty beauty products.
You're going to love that freaking episode. Like, she literally delivers in every single way as Amaya on that episode. That episode shows me that she fully could do like a podcast or a hosting thing or a whatever. Like she's not, because I think like initially, like I'm not trying to talk bad on our girl, but she kind of comes off as like a ditz or like not as smart. But it's really, I think some of that's just like some of her struggles with like the language a little bit, like just like speaking fast, but like knowing what she's saying and knowing the words she's saying, but just like struggling getting them out a little bit. But in this episode, you really see how sharp she is. Yeah. Like she's a nurse. It's not like she's an idiot, So it's like she really shows off like how good she could be as like a host or a podcaster or anything she wants to do, she could do. But she was saying on the podcast that she wants to go back and finish her nursing and just go into nursing. So who knows if we'll even see much of it.
She has such like a good energy. I would love to see her do all of it. Like do that in the day and then give us a My Papaya at night, like get on a podcast, host something. The energy that she reminds me of a little bit, just because she's so unique and so herself, is like the Gabby Wendy of it all. How Gabby's voice is like so distinct and specific, and her cadence is, and I feel like Amaya is the same way. Like she has her own, the girl, she loves a metaphor. She loves to like, give you a couple different ways to think about something. Maybe she's not the tea for you to drink, the book for you to read. You don't know.
Yeah. So give me, before we close it all down and everything, I want to know your opinions on Nicolandria after the final episode. Like, what do you think was revealed there? Like, I have my thoughts, but I'd really like to hear yours first.
You know what? It's really hard for me to track. I honestly think they're both overwhelmed by how many people want them together.
I agree.
It would feel overwhelming if you had really strong connections. Otherwise, you're like, wait, the entire world's been wanting me to be with this other person that I'm really good friends with, and I'm attracted to. Like, I can understand the kind of excitement of that. I felt like I almost said vows. Her thing where they're declaring their love was really sweet and seemed focused on moving forward. I can't remember exactly what statement it was, but it was like towards the end, like
he
whether
like,
it be lovers or friends.
He said like, I don't know where we're headed.
Right. But it was something like whether we become lovers or friends. And I was like, oh, I worry. And I felt like her attitude changed. Like there was a vibe shift, and maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. There seemed to me to be a vibe shift with her after he spoke, and they did not kiss when they sat back down at the table the same way the other couples, Iris and Pepe and Amaya and Brian did. So
he's done some, and I think some of this is really smart on both of their parts, because he did say in an interview today that like they are going on a date. They're going on dates this week. They're continuing to like pursue each other, but that they are taking it slow, and they don't want to create the kind of environment where like if it doesn't work out or whatever, that they can't maintain the friendship, because all of them are so tight now. Yeah. And I think like a lot of them, what we'll find out is they're all going to probably move to LA together, and try to like influence and do these things, which I think is smart. So I think like part of it is like he doesn't want to lampoon this great group of relationships that he has with these people over like forcing this relationship, which I mean I think is all smart. But I do believe in the whole like friends make the best lovers kind of thing. Yeah, and so like I really do like have an investment in like wanting to see them at least do what they're doing, which is like
it literally could work out so well. Like it genuinely could. And I don't know. I guess the only reason that I have consternation about it at all is that I don't trust him. I love him. I would watch Nick on any TV show. Like, I do not dislike him, but he seems wishy-washy. And what I need for Alandria is like someone who will commit to her and be exactly what she's looking for. I think she is so mature. I mean, she's the only one too. Like, she hasn't been doing interviews. She's kind of taken it slow coming online. Now, granted, she has experienced a lot of like racism and crazy hate coming her way for quite literally no reason. But I think she's just trying to like soak it all in right now and figure out how she wants to move. But she's the only one that hasn't like popped off about how many followers she has and doing interviews and all of this. And she's a very intentional person. So I want to make sure that whoever she ends up with is also intentional with her. That's my only thing. And if that's Nick, fantastic.
And one final thing. Did you see the video of Iris meeting up with TJ?
No.
So there is a video going around from last night of Iris and TJ seeing each other for the first time outside of this hotel, and they like hug and they're talking, and he's like very animated, and she like hugs him at the end, and there's a lot of like speculation about like what's going on there and how is that affecting the Pepe of it all.
Oh, she better not leave my boy Pepe. I love that man.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he said something about someone asked him about Hannah, and he was like, listen, you have these like intense relationships early on and then you kind of move on. He was like, I think she's an amazing person and I look forward to calling her. But it was like pretty crystal clear that he's like set on Iris. So I hope it's the same for her.
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right, folks. Well, we will be back in your ears on Friday, probably.
Yeah, probably another episode Friday. Because we're not recording this weekend because I'm going to see Dave Matthews.
For like the 1400th time this year. That's what they don't tell you about getting married when you're young. Like, you marry a guy who is wonderful by all accounts, but he has a deep and abiding love for Dave Matthews that you don't fully understand. And that's you.
Yes. Yep.
But we will be covering Next Gen NYC and The Valley, and then I think we're going to try to watch the other episode of Bachelor in Paradise as well.
And help us. We really need the help of figuring out like what are our listeners actually watching and want us to watch. Like, we've already decided like we will do Traders, we will do the new Vanderpump when it comes out. We will do obviously Summer House, which is a show we've always watched. But like, are there some shows that we are not watching that we should be? Like, please hit us up in the comments for those.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye.
Popsnitch.com.
Oh yeah, actually subscribe to our YouTube. Like, we need you there. Just pick it up, subscribe. You don't even have to watch. Just hit us with that.
Popsnitch Pod on Instagram and TikTok. All of our links are at popsnitch.com, and we will see you Friday.
Bye.